melt is when I'm ocean waves.
So tonight on Nova Legends podcast, I have Hayfield Coach Carlos Poindexter, recently voted Occoquan Region Coach of the Year again. Most importantly, his Hayfield Hawks repeated as Northern Occoquan Region champs and are on the way to a state quarterfinal matchup against Madison. Coach, thanks for joining me. Congratulations.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it.
Yeah,
I'm glad we're still alive after that regional championship. Well, we still would have been alive anyway. But,
yes, it's true, but it was nice to have a nice test. Edison came to play, and sometimes it's tough when you play a team that's so familiar to you. You guys beat them easily once, and two of the games were pretty close this year, relatively close. So right. it was. I didn't know what to expect, but you guys came out and you played well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, well, look, first of all, we'll get back to that game, but I want to talk a little bit about the team. Now, what are your emotions about this season? I mean, after you win a state championship and you're undefeated, and I think the last undefeated team to win it since in the boys' side since T.C. Williams in 1977, mythical T.C. Williams team. This year you could really only lose. I mean, it's hard to match that. So, I mean, the pressure is on all year long anyway. So, what's been your mood all year? I mean, when have you been able to enjoy this season?
Yeah, I feel like I've been able to enjoy it for the most part. I think, I knew that I could never duplicate what we did last year. So I just feel like we just go out there and just compete at the highest level every game and, deliver the results at the end of the day. So, that's all I can ask for.
Yeah. When you look at the teams, how would you compare the personality and the culture of the team? By now, this team has developed its own personality and culture. It's, it's had a whole season together. So it's no longer in the shadow of the old team, and you got some new players. So how would you compare, the personalities and the culture of the team?
The personalities is definitely a little different, but they all get along well though, which is great. Like we're a senior-driven team for the most part. We start 5 seniors, and then Braylon Cage comes off the bench, who's a senior. And those 6 guys pretty much get most of the playing time. We have a couple other guys like Jaleel, Andy, and Owen who gets playing time as well. But our nucleus with those 5 and 6 guys, they're all senior driven and they all want to leave out on top and win the championship. So, we all came together for this goal. And we're right there 3 games away.
Do you guys I'm sorry, Coach?
No, go ahead.
Yeah. Do you feel that the teams play similar? I don't think this is the exact same type of team. I think you play a little bit different, but how do you feel? Do you think they play the same time?
We're different. We're definitely a different team, mainly because, for one, in my opinion, Ashton Pratt, who scored the ball for us, and he shot it at such a high clip that it was hard for people to do certain things versus last year, where the players that we have, even though they can do a lot of things on the floor, they probably don't shoot it as well as Ashton does. So I think that that's the difference between that, and then you got we had Marcus Rouse off the bench who did everything for us. We take out Dave, we put Marcus in. There's no let up, and then we can literally switch everything 1 through 5 at that point in time, and it makes us a little bit different. Now. Our defense, we can't switch 1 through 5. We switch 1 through 4, and so it's just a little bit different. And then we're still scoring around the same amount of points as last year, but it's just coming in different ways. And it's not 5 guys averaging double figures; it's 4 guys averaging double figures. So just a little bit, it's a little bit of difference. But at the end of the day, we're all just trying to get stops and buckets. At the end of the day.
My guess is it was easier to coach last year's team in terms of playing time decisions, because you really just had to rotate the 6 players and they got pretty much equal playing time, even though probably the point guard, Braylon, probably played more than the rest, but you probably just kind of rotated your top 6 last year. Whereas this year you got real decisions to make, because you got 1 through 9.
Yeah, it's about 9.
You can really come in and do different things. Is it more complicated to coach this group just because you can do different things?
No, it's not complicated. It's just trying to make the right decision of which person that we're going to put in or that we're going to plug in for that particular moment. And sometimes you don't make the right decision or it doesn't go your way. So then you try another guy. But I feel like it's been good though. It's been good like that to play more people than to, I got 15 guys on the team. And for us to get up to 9 or 10 guys in playoff games, I think that's great. It tells you how deep we are as a team.
Yeah. Well, I think he did a great job of putting together a schedule that make it interesting for the team, because National District was a little down this year, no doubt about it. And if you just played a local schedule, you would have had a lot of 30-point games, and that's 30 points by halftime in some of those games. So did you enjoy playing those really tough games? Did it really help us make the season more interesting that you're playing?
Yeah, when you get to have those type of games, your kids get up for it, and they love being in those type of environments, and to put their skill test to the test versus the top guys that we're playing versus. And I think every game that we played, even the game that we lost, I feel like our guys played at such a high level and did more than hold their own versus everyone.
Yeah. Well, I know you're not the kind of person that complains. You just get your team ready to play and you do the best you can. But do you kind of wish the state tournament, you're not going to play anyone out of the area until the state final? That's just the way it is. Not your fault. Do you kind of wish it was a true state tournament and that we had like John Marshall and some of the other teams all in brackets and get a chance to play against other teams, or you don't even think that deeply? You just kind of play what's in front of you.
Now, I saw the podcast that it was like a 10-minute thing that you put out, mm-hmm. and I listened to it, and I actually love the idea that you put together. I think that would be great if we could get something like that going. Like that would be at best. I think that would be the best situation for everyone if we could do something like that.
I think they understand that it's easier for a guy like you to keep players at public school if we offer more interesting postseason. So what you did was you went out and got a great regular season for your team, and right. The postseason is going to be great. But the better we can make it, I think the more interesting it is for the players to stay in public school.
Yeah.
So
I agree, and then also something I was going to say something today too, and I just left it alone. I feel like we should. It's Hayfield versus Madison and South Lakes versus Edison. We should have that at one spot and just play that at one spot.
Right.
I think that would be perfect.
Yeah. I mean, it's like we're keeping the game secret. So like I was talking to Derby today. We're trying to decide which game we're going to go to. I mean, both games are great. Yeah. I mean, obviously South Lakes and Edison on paper looks like a draw, and whereas you imagine obviously Hayfield will be favored, but who knows. Right. But we shouldn't have to make a decision which game we're going to go to.
Yeah, I definitely think they dropped the ball with that, and hopefully we were at our region meeting, and Marvin over at South County, the DSA over there, he said that they're going to be making a lot of changes this upcoming year, and one of those changes that they talked about or that he mentioned was to try to link up with the Northern region to make it one tournament. So we'll see if that happens.
I mean, this is common sense stuff. It's almost like these folks weren't watching games when you were playing at Hayfield.
Right.
I mean, this is the way it always been. We all will come and we watch both games and watch double hitters. That's what tournament basketball is all about.
Yeah.
That's what's different. Basketball different from football. You can have these kind of tournaments, but I mean, I'm preaching to the choir here. So yeah. Well, let's get back to Hayfield. Nothing we can do about that. Well, one thing I haven't asked you about, Coach, is let me give you a chance to give some shout outs to your assistant coaches. Now, you've got an energetic group that's been with you this year, and I think they've been with you for a few years.
Yeah, they've been with me for a while.
Talk about your assistant coaches and how they've been able to assist you in this historic run.
I mean, first is Coach Mike Lee. He's been like my head assistant for the last five or so years. He's the guy that does a lot of the pre-game stuff, pre-practice stuff. Getting their bodies ready, the lifting. He's our strength and conditioning coach as well. So he does, and making sure he just does everything for them to make sure that they get their bodies right for the game. And on top of that, providing, his expertise on what we should do throughout games. I listen to him. I listen to all my coaches a lot more than I've done way in the past. But he, Coach Lee, my right-hand man. And he's been next to me for a while, and I trust his opinion a lot when it comes to when it comes to basketball and how we should do things throughout the season. So you have Coach Lee, and then you have Coach Tim Edison, who's our quote unquote skills development coach. He works out the players. He's a big reason why DJ has been what DJ's been this year. They put in a lot of work together before practice, after practice. They get to it, and now like other guys are trying to get into that workout with DJ as well, because they see how it's really made DJ blossom over this year. But Coach Tim Madison, and then Tim, he's a former player, played in the pros a little bit. So like I go to him, he does all of our matchups. So he reviews the film, and I go to him to make sure that we got the right matchups, and he lets us know what he thinks it is, and pretty much 95% of the time I'm agreeing with him as far as matchups is concerned. And he does a great job of just getting our guys better and providing the expertise from that player standpoint that maybe that Coach Lee and I aren't seeing. So I feel like we have a great working relationship with everyone. And then you got Coach AJ Fitzgerald, who he was with us for a while, and then he left for personal reasons. And then when he came back, I didn't have a spot open, so he went to South County. So he was at South County for a couple of years, and then he ended up getting a job at Hayfield. So it just made it right for him to come back to Hayfield, because he graduated from Hayfield. So it's been good. And then for him, he does our defensive stuff. Like he's primarily like the quote unquote defensive coordinator for our team this year, and been doing a good job, man. 27-1. So I feel like he's been making the right calls, the right decisions for us, and like I said, I trust all my coaches. I have another coach named Shanika Peebles, female coach. She helped with the JV, and then also helped with varsity as well. And she just does a great job of just talking to the players, getting in their minds and making them think, especially throughout practice situations and different things of that nature. So have a great working relationship with them. And then, Coach Abella, who coaches the lower levels, but he in playoff situations, he goes to scout, old school scouting. He actually goes to the games, scouts, gives the report, and I 9 times out of 10 I'm either going to his house so that we can chop it up and figure out the game plan moving forward for the play, throughout the playoffs.
Yeah, you can't do it by yourself, Coach. Right? You got to have a great team.
I feel like I have a great team.
Yeah, that's right. Well, Coach, how's the media? You've had some great media following you all year. How have you enjoyed the media presence?
No, it's been good. As long as they're still showing us in a good light, I feel like it's always good.
Yeah.
I love the attention that our guys was getting, is well deserved for what they've done over the past few years. And I feel like the guys that has put our 2 episodes together, they've done an excellent job in displaying not only us, but also, giving love to our opponents. I think they did a good job with that. So, it's all good.
Yeah. I've been asked to do a documentary on Northern Region basketball history. Maybe your boys can work with me on that.
Hey, that would be great.
Yeah, they can work with me on that. Well, thanks, Coach. Let's get to the Edison game. We started to talk about that. One thing I would say as a spectator is that Greg Jones really came to play. That was a Greg Jones that we saw a lot of last year. This year, again, you only play kids half the game.
Yeah.
So it's nice. It's nice when you have a game like that where he can really show what he can do. And then John Wilk. Wilk had a really big first quarter. It was good for your team that these guys got off to a great start.
Yeah, it was definitely great because for one, we wasn't playing well. So Greg hitting the shots that he was hitting, and then John getting downhill and making the plays that he was making. It was a good start for us because DJ and David didn't get off to good starts, and David was never able to, once he got in foul trouble, it was hard for him to recover mentally and play the type of game that he's been accustomed to playing. So, it was good to get some points and some things from other people besides the big 3.
Yeah, I thought the big guy, I lost his name on Edison, but I thought he did a great job against David. Matter of fact, he had a great all-around game. And he was it's funny because I saw him at the game at Edison, and he was a non-factor, but he really played a great game. He really changed the game on Friday.
Nah, he did. He for whatever reason, and this goes back like for the past few years. Like Nader does, he's probably the best person that's ever defended David. He
Mm.
always gives David fits for whatever reason. It's been a tough matchup. Not for for David scoring, just making things hard for David and not able to get those easy looks that he's been able to get. And he played like we do a lot of pick and roll stuff, and he plays that drop coverage. And we like to get in tight and then drop it off, and we haven't been able to do that as much. So if we get through Madison and they get through South Lakes, we're going to have to figure something out to make sure that David gets more touches, because even though we have great players on the wing and stuff, you got to get David going, and David needs to be having 16 to 20 points a game in that type of environment. So
yeah. One thing.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Coach. Go ahead. Finish.
No, I was going to say that game, the regional championship game, even though it was a close game, I feel like that was the type of game that we needed to have. Like we needed to go through some type of adversity through the playoffs, and I feel like we did a little bit in the first half versus TC in the semifinals game. But this game, it was all the way through where we went through some adversity. They actually took the lead, and like I said, David was in foul trouble, DJ was in foul trouble. So, we had to bring some other guys in to spare some minutes. So it was a good game for us to have. And I'm still happy that we were able to get out of there with a victory and win that, because I feel like they had our number that night.
Yeah. One of the reasons why they were able to hang with you is Teddy Morgan from Edison, a guy I'm not familiar with. I don't think he played in one of the games you guys played against him.
Yeah, he didn't play in the district championship game. And then the second time we played him at Edison, he didn't play in the second half because he had like stomach issues or whatever.
He was a real difference maker. He's quite a talent.
So he played extremely well versus Potomac at the beginning of the year. And I feel like this was another game where he stamped himself on the court. He shot the ball well. He was getting straight line drives, which I hated, but he was getting straight line drives, getting to the cup. And I think he had 18 points in that game. So he did, coming off, and that's off the bench. He had 18 off the bench.
So, they have two great players off the bench.
Yeah, it's crazy because I was happy that we only gave number 5 one open look, and he missed it. So I was happy that we did that, but we didn't do a good job on Teddy Morgan. So, and then 23 in the fourth quarter had eight tough points. Right, down the stretch of the basketball game. So
that's Ant Saunders, I believe, right?
Saunders, yep. Yeah. Sanders, yeah.
Sanders.
They got, man, they're a good team, and they're young. Like Saunders, he's a sophomore. Teddy Morgan's a junior. DJ Thomas is a junior. They got those 3 guys coming back next year.
Yeah, that Edison team is one of the most talented teams you'll see on a public school circuit. I mean, they're still they have their bad nights where they lose and stuff, but when they put it all together, they're a very dangerous team. Second half, Coach, you came out and DJ Holloway took over the game. That must have been a relief to you to see.
Yeah, for sure. We knew that it was going to happen, and then we started force feeding some actions where he was going to have the ball too. So usually we it's free flowing. Whoever's getting it, whoever's going is fine. But like we actually had to start making calls so that he can put his stamp on the game. And sure enough, he showed up and showed out.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, Coach, you escaped. You had a nice effort against a hot shooting Edison team.
And they out-rebounded us. They out-rebounded us by 13 rebounds, and they scored of their 68 points. Like I think like 30 something of them, 40. I think Coach said 40 of them was in the paint. So it was like, it was a bad game for us, man. Just giving up straight line drive. It wasn't our typical defense that we needed to play.
Yeah. To me, also one thing they didn't turn the ball over that much. I thought at Edison, the game that I saw, they turned the ball over a lot. This time they took pretty good care of the ball.
Yeah, we only had 8 steals and we averaged 17.
Yeah, you guys feed off that pressure. And
we do.
And if a team can get the ball into their offense, and as you said, if they get to the hole, if you get to the hole that many times, you're going to score some points.
Exactly.
So, and you're going to cause some foul trouble.
Yes.
But well, look, Edison, that's behind us at least for now. And coming up, we have Madison now, coached by Kevin Roller. It's interesting because we talk sometimes on our coaches panel, and Coach Bentley has said, and others have said, they haven't had that many Division I players in their time. Well, Madison probably has two Division I players on their team, Miles Franklin and Wyatt Norton. Now, Wyatt Norton's a 6'7", 6'8" sophomore. Miles Franklin, to me, he's just really beginning to scratch the surface of his talent. This kid, to me, is going to be a great player.
What year is he?
He's a junior.
Okay.
And he's like 6'5", 6'6" now. He's really growing. He's the son of Derek Franklin,
Yes,
the
sir.
nephew of Daryl Franklin, two great players at Chantilly. And a coach, I think I mentioned that, coached by Kevin Roller. So what else? What else should we know about Madison?
Number 24. What's Kaminsky?
Yeah.
Kaminsky. I watched, I was at the South Lakes game. I feel like, they call this play called elbow, where they give it to him at the elbow and he just goes one-on-one and he's able to get downhill. He uses his body well. He finished, he's strong enough where he could take contact and get 2+1. So I feel like he's like definitely high on my board that like we need to stop. We need to make sure that we make him take tough shots and not get into the paint as much because besides the Franklin kid that you talked about, I think Kaminsky is the guy that we need to key on a lot too.
Yeah. What about Norton? Have you got a chance to look at Wyatt Norton very much?
Yeah. I mean, Norton's going to be a very good basketball player for the next couple of years. Right now, I feel like he's still a little raw from an offensive skills standpoint. Yeah. But, defensively, he can go block shots. He's athletic as all get out. And warm-ups, man, he was backwards dunking, windmilling, doing all types of crazy dunks. So you can tell that he's very athletic. And I saw that he could shoot it a little bit too. So I just feel like as far as his post-up game, he still has a little ways to go. But he's 6'8". And and my post guy is 6'2", so it's going to be one of those games. He probably could just get it and get it up there and throw it over there, and it'll go in, or he can second jump and go get the offensive rebound. So we got to be wary of him too, and especially on the duck end. Like the first play that they ran versus South Lakes, they ran a duck end. It got deflected, but you can see where Roller's mind is because he felt like he had a disadvantage with South Lakes as well.
Yeah, it's going to be. It's going to be a great match, a very interesting matchup. They're very different and than you guys. Hey, Coach, have they told you where's the game going to be and what time is the game going to be?
It's going to be at South County at 7 p.m.
7 p.m. at South County, and then not to look ahead, but the next game is going to be on a Tuesday. It's going to be next week, right? It's not going to be this weekend.
I think it's going to be on Monday.
It's going to be Monday.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Coach, we're getting a little. You've been with Greg Jones, David King, and DJ Holloway for 4 years. I'm not sure if they all played varsity for 4 years, but you've been with them all four. So, are you getting a little sentimental about this? These are the last few games that you're going to be coaching them.
Yeah, before the game of the Edison game, Mr. King, David King's father, came to me. He was like, "Do you realize this is going to be my last time coming in this gym to watch a basketball game?" And I wasn't thinking about it like that. So we had like a little moment right there where we was just reminiscing and talking about how these guys started, like where they are now, and how they're these superstars as seniors when they was just little kids running around our basketball camp.
Yeah. Well, last question, Coach. I follow your Twitter, and your players still, to me, as much exposure as they've gotten, some of the individually may not have gotten as much respect as they deserve. I think they, for example, DJ Holloway signed at Belmont Abbey, a very good Division II school. He's not paying for college. That's great. But don't you think your players probably don't get the individual respect they probably deserve? Never.
I mean, we're always the underrated, and under recruited guys that come through my program. I feel like, that's why they play with the chip on the shoulder that they do, because, I think that they do a great job of going out and competing, and whoever the next top guy is, we do our best to make sure that those guys don't get their numbers, and sure enough, and make sure that our guys do get their numbers. And, we do a great job of that. And I feel like, 85, 95% of the time, we're doing that. And those guys, and it's because of those guys, because they go out there, they want that matchup, they ask for those matchups, and we go out there and compete, and and we're winning those basketball games.
Yeah, I feel like you played on every big stage you could this year. You played against Jackson Reed in a packed house over at Oxon High School.
Yeah,
you traveled north, you traveled south. you played the best competition, and no matter where you played, you guys won, and everyone played well. And again, you got great social media, and I think it's unfortunate that still some kids, and a lot of it might still be the transfer portal. They might be looking for still transfers more than looking for young kids.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think you do a tremendous job with your kids. You've done another great job this year.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I feel like, because somebody was making some posts on Dennis Marshall. He made a post about DJ, about people missed the boat on him. And I felt like I've been screaming DJ's name for 3 years, but, I had Braylon Wheeler in front of him. So it was hard to see his true talent and everything that he could do. And this year, everybody's gotten a real glimpse of DJ and the things that he can do for a college program. And, I wish some D1s had really, looked at him and evaluate him on that level. But, it didn't happen. Belmont Abbey saw something in him, and, they offered him a full scholarship, and he's going to go to Belmont Abbey and have a good career over there.
Yeah, they're very lucky to have him.
Yes.
DJ Holloway is one of these players. If you look back in the history of Northern Virginia basketball, he rates very high upon players that played here, but he'll never get that kind of respect. He played in the shadow. Greg is a very well-regarded player, and the team is so good and so well balanced that a little bit of his individual talent gets lost in the shuffle. But that sometimes happens on great teams.
Right.
But it doesn't take away from what he's accomplished and what he's done at Hayfield and the games he's won at Hayfield.
Yeah, and that's why I'm grateful that the coaches voted him as Region Player of the Year this year. I'm grateful for that.
Yeah. So, well, anyway, Coach, grateful that you came on and joined me, and I wish you best of luck. The way things have worked the last year or two, I'll probably be talking to you next week. So
hopefully,
Anyway, I will see you at the games this weekend, and again, best of luck.
Yeah, I gotta think what Kevin Roller is going to try to throw at us, man. I know you got something up his sleeve.
Well, he told me he's going to talk to me, so I've been trying to get him on the podcast, and he's been ducking me all week. So, Coach Roller, if you're listening, I'm going to get you on this podcast this week so we can hear what you're going to pull on Coach Carlos Friday night. So,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a good one, man.
It'll be fun. It'll be a nice contrast to South. And people,
exactly.
Madison played O'Connell tough. If you can play O'Connell tough,
right.
you can really rise your game to the occasion. So
we're going to have to play defense for 35 to 45 seconds. We're going to have to do a good job of that and not get lost on back doors and those cuts that they run. So we're going to work on it this week, and hopefully our guys mind is sharp and we get it done.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be exciting, Coach. And again, I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Coach.
All right. Have a good one.
All right, buddy. You too, man.
Yeah.
I'm helpless when I'm ocean waves.